For thousands of years, the Legion has hunted us. So many worlds destroyed and heroes lost.
War Chiefs!
We can run no longer. It is time we take the fight to them.
All forces are on board and accounted for.
After we reach Argus, we will meet with the army of the light and begin our invasion.
We are blessed to be in your presence once more.
Every demon we slay here dies their final death. Do not hold back.
Bring them down! You've doomed us all! The circle nears completion. The mortals must not disrupt the rebirth. We make our stand. The last battle for Argus has begun.
So, how would you guys like to go to another planet? If you haven't accessed it, you're probably going to notice that this would not be here. This is something I've found out that a lot of people just simply don't have this place unlocked. If you want to unlock Argus, it's actually very simple. It honestly just takes a few minutes. What you have to do on your max character, just go to... I'll even show you right now. And yes, I'm using the scythe from Mythic Argus because I have both scythes, and I figured I'll go ahead and show and use the item that you can get, and hopefully have a chance to get yet another thing you can get from this, which I've been farming like crazy. But go over here to the Violet Citadel, talk to our buddy Khadgar right over here.
Hey.
And you can get a quest from him that one's where Magni tells you about Azeroth being concerned about what happens at the end of this raid. But there's a quest he gives you that will say that Velen needs you to meet a ship bound for the Exodar in either Stormwind or Aggramar, based on what faction you play. And you hop on that ship, they take you to the Exodar, regardless of your faction. You go into the Exodar, and then you go to the ship that we take to Argus. Obviously, I can't show it to you. I would have loved it if they had something where you could still see Argus in the sky. But anyways, you would be able to hop on the Vindicar there, and then you would watch the cutscene, which takes you to Argus. And then you could just come here to Dalaran, use this, and it takes you to the Vindicar on Argus. One of the things I like about Argus is that a lot of it is account bound. Like, especially all the different bunkers for fast travel here on Argus that you can be able to access. You don't have to really do the story stuff. You kind of do if you want to take advantage of this, for example. If you want to be able to take advantage of the stuff for the various different reps and such here. It's one of the ways to actually get one of the really cool mounts you can get. I can probably even show it to you right over here at this vendor over here, which is this mount right here, the Light Forged Warframe. You got to get Exalted with the Army of the Light, and then it costs you quite a bit of gold. Now, it shows almost 600,000, but when you get to Exalted, it'll actually drop to around 500,000. So, I know it sounds like a lot of gold, but if you have actually acquired the Long Boy, I'm sure 500k is really not that big a deal, honestly, at this point anymore. But yeah, basically, all you gotta do is just unlock Argus. You don't have to do the other storyline to actually get to the raid, because once you do here, you can be able to go to any of the bunkers that you have unlocked on any account. Now, if you want to farm certain things, like over here, there are world quests here in the Antoran Wastes. But some of the other stuff in these areas, you have to do the campaign in order to actually unlock them on each character. That's not really a big deal. But if you're just wanting to go to the raid entrance is actually right over here. So there is another bunker. It's supposed to be like right over here. Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what the deal is. But you can just take this one right here to Hope's Landing in the Antoran Wastes. And then it just takes a bit of running to get there. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys. Alright. So, by the way, I hope that you guys enjoy this, because this is going to be the last one for quite some time. I've yet to test if I can solo any of the BFA raids, but I doubt I could.
The demons rally behind one of their champions. Bring it down.
I just realized I went the wrong way, because that twister there got in the way.
From their stasis. Cut them down where they stand.
Alright. So what you actually should do is head this way. Need to make sure I'm going the right direction here. Alright, yeah. Right over here, this way. This little area right here is the big indicator. And then you just hop across this. Avoid the fell, even though it really hurts. And if you touch it a little bit, you know, it'll hurt, but it won't kill you. Just don't stay in it too long. There we go. And here we are. And as you can see, people are meeting up to get ready to do this, because of course they are. This is continuously ran every week for various different things. I, of course, mentioned one of the things I do have. Hold on. There we go. I've shown this off before, but I know some people that still don't have it, so I'm pretty happy I have it. Both the blue and the red ones. The one thing I don't have from this, though, that I really want is the sword that drops from Aggramar, Teshalash. I have been bringing my Death Knight, Paladin, and Warrior to this on a regular basis. I've even used my Hunter, though mainly in the LFR version, because you can actually pull it off. And it drops on any difficulty. It's just a matter of actually getting it to drop. And it just still won't drop. Hopefully it will actually, if it drops on camera while I do this, I'm gonna, I may flip. I've farmed this sword so much. I've also gotten both of the mounts that you, well, not the, okay, let me clarify. I have both of the Hound mounts. The Charhound that drops from one of the bosses we will encounter, and the Gloomhound, which is the Glory of the Argus Raider achievement. And this took a while, because the last one basically requires you to have quite a few people in order to be very synchronized in order to pull it off. But we did it, and I was able to get my mount. Really happy about it, because I really like this mount. I was happy I got the other one too. The one I don't have, though, is the one that drops from Mythic Argus, which is the disgusting gross one. You know, if I get it, fine. I'll have it in my collection, but I'll never use it, because it's messed up. It's like something out of a horror movie. It's disgusting, and I never plan to use it. So, anyways. We are here, and this is effectively the finale of Legion. This is what it's all been building up towards. This is where we are finally going to actually take down and defeat the Burning Legion and Sargeras once and for all. Antorus, the Burning Throne. At the core of Argus lies Antorus, the burning throne. From this seat of power, Sargeras drives his burning crusade to ravage the cosmos. Within the throne's nigh impenetrable depths, primordial powers are being forged into weapons of utter annihilation. Should these forces rise to serve their master, the final hour will fall upon all of creation. It's also worth noting that during our questing here in Argus, we found out some things that were very important to know. We found out, with the help of Magni, as well as Duralian and Valen and Illidan, and we found out that Sargeras... there's a number of things we found out about. I will say some of this kind of doesn't quite make sense, but we can explain it. The part of the issue is that the writers and such didn't explain it themselves. We kind of had to piece it together ourselves. But one of the things that we found out was that Argus, the planet, actually has a world soul, just like Azeroth, and has been getting tortured to join Sargeras' side for a very long time. That's part of what we encounter when we come here. In fact, I just realized something. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, just like how I remembered that, this was actually something I remembered to do when we went through ICC. As I've mentioned before, DBM has this feature where after you've done a raid once, it will go ahead and skip a cutscene for you, even if you turn that option off where you don't want to skip your cutscenes, it'll still do it anyway. I don't know why it keeps doing this. The only way I can make sure it doesn't skip a cutscene on its own without me telling it to myself is to simply remove it, and disable it. I don't have to remove it, I just have to disable it. So I just went ahead and disabled DBM and such, so that way it won't skip any of the cutscenes in here, because obviously there's quite a bit of story. This is a big monumental event. We are going into the heart of the Legion's headquarters to take away very important aspects of how the Legion operates and their resources and some of their command structure, and finally, once and for all, defeat the Burning Legion, which sounds insane that we're actually going to be able to have a chance to actually defeat them once and for all. But yes, that is actually what we are going to be doing here in this raid. Defeating them once and for all, removing them as a threat. I also forgot to mention that one of the things is not just that he's been using Argus's World Soul, he is also trying to corrupt the souls of the Pantheon. He is trying to create a dark Pantheon, meaning he's trying to not only revive the Titans, but corrupt them to actually be on his side. Sargeras, I mean. This is one of the things we're actually going to be going in here to actually prevent, is the turning of the Titans to join Sargeras' side. And if that happens, we lose. We don't win after that. It's over. There's nothing we can do about fighting all the Titans joining Sargeras. That would be it for us. We would effectively completely lose. So we are going in here to stop that. Along with, of course, stopping Sargeras from doing something, because as we enter, we will see that he is actually starting to do something which we don't see him do before. Because that's Azeroth. I mentioned this before. There's the skybox where we actually see Azeroth itself. There you go. There's a better shot right here at this camera angle. So you can see Azeroth there. You can see it moving. It's one of the best skyboxes they've ever done. I love that skybox. And it makes a lot more sense here than it did when we were in Outland. I don't recall if that was only in the Black Temple instance, but yeah, it was just kind of like, why is that there? It shouldn't be there. But here, it obviously makes a whole bunch of sense, and it's really great. Just love that. That's about to change the moment we enter this raid. And I'll show you guys that when we go inside here. But yeah, there's quite a bit that happens in here.
We've breached Light forged! Secure this position!
The Vindicar will draw all the fire we can, Torarian, but we cannot hold out long. You must disable their defenses.
We will not fail you, Prophet. Champions, we'll keep these winged beasts occupied while you clear a path.
So, yeah. That's Sargeras. It's not really explained why he all of a sudden becomes this dark cloud and starts actually enveloping Azeroth like that. But yeah, it effectively starts happening when we enter this raid. So we're kind of on a timetable here because he's doing that while the Coven and Aggramar are doing their thing. But yeah, we need to get going here if we're going to save our home, and try to defeat Sargeras once and for all. So yeah, hi Torarian. Yeah, it was a big deal when we got to see both him and Illyria finally make their return on camera. I am one of those who thinks the whole changing him fighting them here for 20 or so years into 1,000 years is completely stupid, but but anyways, I will say, he has, of course, the light forged armor that you can be able to, though his is obviously a bit more show-offy. I want my light forged armor to look as this shiny as his, but it makes sense his is more shiny than mine since he is the High Exarch. But I do love his sword. I believe that's Lothar's sword, but just that, broken and, sharp with the light aspect. Oh, I would love that. That looks so cool. Heck, that's part of the reason I want Tail Shalash, because it's kind of like that with fire. But anyways. So yeah, we are clearing a path through all these forces. I mentioned before how the Emerald Nightmare was not effectively a Legion raid because we were dealing with the Nightmare and Xavius, and there were some loose connections there between him and the Burning Legion. And then you had, Trial of Valor, which mainly had to do with Odin and Helya. Then we had the Nighthold, which had to do with Suramar and Gul'dan. And then we had Tomb of Sargeras, which was a combination of Legion, Naga, and forces from Elune and such. But this is effectively the Burning Legion raid right here. This is now us invading the main headquarters of the Burning Legion to take out all their assets and resources and their chain of command. We are effectively taking away and defeating, once and for all, the Burning Legion with all the different things that they have that makes them such a incredibly powerful and dominant. So yeah, we just took out one of those Garothi. There's a giant one that walks on Argus that's supposed to be like one of those Fel Reavers from back in the day on Outland. And that's important to note because we are about to encounter something that makes any of those Fel Reavers and any of those Garothi and even the Lightforged Warframes that we have there, which are walking death in lore. Those things are insanely powerful. And they're on the Alliance, by the way. That makes even those look kind of like a joke. No, not this. Not this thing here. This is just another Garothi. It's that thing.
We're gaining ground. Press the attack. Lightforged, fall back! Champions, bring that monstrosity down!
Those were Warframes, and it squished them. Yeah. This is something far above any Garothi and Fel Reaver that we have ever encountered before. This is a Garothi Worldbreaker. Constructed deep within the core of Argus and outfitted with an arsenal capable of decimating worlds, this war machine has been designed for a single purpose: to bring the mortals' invasion to its knees. This is without a question the strongest and most powerful Garothi Fellreaver type of enemy that we've ever encountered.
Enemy combatants detected. Threat level none.
I do like its voice.
Leave none alone.
So yeah, it's another one of these encounters where it's the top half of his body. And it's got various weapons. You'll see them in just a second. So yeah, you see the Decimator and Annihilator. You gotta attack one of those weapons before they attack. Destroy one of them, and he can't use it for the rest of the fight. He pulls you in, and then smashes you. It's very much like the Croesus fight, except he doesn't have a bridge to break. But that's because he pulls you in to smashes you. By the way, if you kill this thing too fast, it can actually bug. So there's the other one. We destroyed that one.
I've started my assault.
So it's doing that thing where it's cutting off the dialogue. Again, I don't understand why it's doing this. In fact, hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I just decided to just go ahead and disable everything. All my add-ons. Disable everything. Whatever it is that's preventing the skipping of the dialogue. And if it still skips it, I don't know what to do about that. Sorry. Trying to show off as much of the story as I can, but if it skips dialogue and I have no control over that, sorry, there's nothing I can do about it, apparently. But yeah, basically taking out Worldbreaker, which you can see the wreckage of the whole body over there, allows us to be able to now advance even further into this area, which you can see.
Legion ships, take cover!
See the shields here they're putting up to protect us. But you can see like a whole bunch of the forces down there. Lightforged and Legion forces fighting each other as we try to advance our way into this area. The main base and headquarters deep within Argus. By the way, sometimes I get inclined to want to fight the trash here and when we do Mythic Mog runs, because the only piece I don't have is a world drop. The wrist pieces for the set. I really like all the pieces in this raid for the Death Knight. There's a green fell one here. You've got the normal one here, which is mainly just black and orange. Heroic, which is like black and gold. Or a gold type of tint here. A little darker than that. And then you've got the Mythic, which is just this, you know, really cool blue combination here. I really, really like it. And the fact that it's a piece I have to get from trash just is so annoying. But yeah, of course, tons of different Legion demons going to be in our way as we progress in here, because of course they are. It makes complete and total sense that we would be encountering a huge chunk of the Legion's forces here because this is their base. This is their headquarters. Of course, we should be encountering the main bulk of their forces here. So we'll see if, because Illidan's about to talk here.
It's too far.
Sargeras has left us a few of his favorite pets to play with. Remove these abominations from the battlefield.
Alright, so maybe that fixed it. I don't know. Anyways. The Felhounds of Sargeras, infused with fire and shadow. Faharg and Shatug are the prized pets of Sargeras. Bred for carnage, these hounds delight in eviscerating their master's enemies. With the army of the light and their allies advancing upon Antorus, the Legion prepares to unleash these vicious creatures onto the battlefield and put an end to the mortals' invasion. The achievement for this was kind of funny, having to drag them around to the pools based on whether it was like fire or shadow. Now if you're like, where'd they go? Don't worry, they'll come back. See? There they are. By the way, they don't have a shared health pool. They each have their own health pool.
Demons down, but countless more await the attention of your blade.
I like how anytime we take down one of these bosses, the Lightforged forces move in to kind of set up a, like an outpost. A little bit of extra advancement on the battlefield. So we've taken out a gigantic war machine, very vicious war beasts on behalf of Sargeras. Now we're going to start dealing some blows to their leadership. He kind of drowned me out there. We're going to deal some blows to their leadership. Just so you can see a bit more of this area here. You can see that whole area down there. Yeah, this place is big. By the way, these are put here when you do the skip for this area. Which I, of course, have. Like I said, I've brought this character to this raid many times.
It's too far away.
I recognize the trappings of the generals commanding the Legion's forces. Before Sargeras took our world, these generals marshaled our armies and brought peace to Argus. They betrayed everything we stood for when they accepted his bargain. There can be no redemption, only retribution.
Yeah. Yeah, Velen was pretty great in this section. and you can tell he's changed. Such arrogance! You approach the Antoran High Command? Fall to your knees, and I promise you a swift death. Behold the elevator of death. Seriously, if you stand under this elevator, it kills you. It has been rather amusing to see how many people have died to this elevator. Simply because they did not know standing underneath it will kill you. So next, like I said, we are going to be facing the Antoran High Command. Long ago, in the golden age of Eridar civilization, a council was formed to oversee the defense of Argus. The text is small, guys. Give me a break. You really have to get close to the screen to make sure I'm reading this. The defense of Argus and maintain peace. But after their dark bargain was struck with Sargeras, these master tacticians used their military expertise to help orchestrate a burning crusade that ravaged countless worlds. Now, the full might of the Legion's army is theirs to command, and they wield this terrible power to annihilate all who oppose the Dark Titan's will.
I need to get closer.
This is one engagement you will not walk away from!
Hope you enjoy vengeance.
General, Admiral, Engineer. Pretty sure I can't get into this without resetting the fight. Yep, that's what I thought. I just wanted to check. But yeah, there's supposed to be like a whole mechanic there where you get to go in there and utilize the abilities of that. Yeah, see, while a commander is attacking directly, their command pod is empty and can be commandeered. After a period attacking their enemies face-to-face, commanders will assume command and return to their pod.
This is one engagement you will not walk away from!
So yeah, this is supposed to be the top admiral of the Legion's army. That's the top engineer, with the exception of another boss we'll be facing later, and their top general.
Hope you enjoy my vengeance.
Yeah, he's the chief engineer, Ishkar. Which is funny considering who we encounter later on this raid, but I guess he has a different position. But we'll talk about that when we get there. Oh, the general got out of his pod. I didn't even see it. Alright, so when you take them down, you can see them.
The council has finally paid for their treachery. Without their leadership, the Legion will fall into chaos.
So yeah, we've just dealt a blow to the Legion's leadership. Now, you may be going, well, isn't Sargeras their leader? Well, yes, but Sargeras is not exactly running the day-to-day operations of the Legion and their military forces. Kil'jaeden was kind of that main overseer on behalf of Sargeras, but he wasn't necessarily running all of the, the various different things. Like pointed out, you've got various rankings. When it comes to military leadership, you don't just have one big honcho. You have them amongst a number of others that are overseeing various different aspects of that military. Generals, admirals, captains, commanders, engineers, and so on and so forth. So it's not just Sargeras and Kil'jaeden running everything. They don't do that. That's not how that works. So taking out 3 of their top leadership here is a big blow to a military force as massive and as organized as the Burning Legion. So the point is that we just dealt a huge blow to their forces as a organized army. And now we will be going after a very important resource for the Legion, and that is part of their fast transportation. Before we do that, though, we'll have to help a friend. But we'll get there. Again, these things are walking death machines in lore. And the Alliance, for some reason, never uses them in BFA. Mainly because the writers just didn't want you to remember they existed. Otherwise, there would be no actual conflict in BFA. The Alliance would have won, hands down.
There is a disturbance close to your location, the likes of which I haven't felt since the opening of the Dark Portal. If the Legion is using that hub to gather reinforcements, then it must be destroyed before we are overwhelmed.
I'm on it, Khadgar. You know, I've been thinking about it recently, and Khadgar is very much up there amongst my favorite characters. Like in my top 5, without question.
Every world in our path has fallen. Yours is next.
So this is a fun little bit right here because, once again, we see trash that is designed to help you get an idea of what you're going to be dealing with and having to work at when it comes to the upcoming boss fight. Because that's very much what this is. This is trash that very much has to deal with the upcoming boss fight. You notice the portals? Yeah. We are effectively dealing with their ability to portal from world to world. And that is a big deal. A very big deal to remove their capability to just open portals and transport and teleport to various worlds. But first we have to help Magni! Magni! I'm on my way! I got your back, Magni! Hey! Leave Magni alone!
Champions! I heard a familiar voice calling. I fought my way inside this accursed place.
Champions, hear me. The Legion has breached my sanctuary, and my defenses will soon be overrun. Stand with me now, lest Sargeras claim his prize.
It's Eonar, the Life Binder. This portal leads to her sanctuary. Go! I'll stay here. Cover your backs.
I will do that in a moment, Magni, but first I need to deal with Portal Keeper Hasabel. I'll talk about Eonar in a bit once we get to her encounter, but first let's deal with this one over here. You can see the 3 different platforms with portals that will be opening up during this year. Portal Keeper Hasabel maintains the nexus through which the Legion has unleashed its portals that open to a myriad of strategic locations throughout the great dark beyond. Hasabel is capable of bringing the might of the Legion's arsenal to bear upon any who oppose her. So we've dealt with their high command. Now we're going to take away their ability to open up portals to various different worlds. This is a big deal.
Is this the best you can muster? Pathetic. Witness Zora, a world of infernal heat and scorched bones.
So unfortunately I can't show you any of these, because of course I have to stay here, otherwise it resets the fight. But yeah, we get to actually go through the portals and be able to actually, you know, do the different worlds. In fact, there's an achievement for doing that if you have multiple people here to help pull it off.
Magic and knowledge. Now, a twisted landscape from which none escape. Cannot be so.
What I found interesting was that she mentioned Nathraza there. Nathraza, in the Illidan book, was the world that used to be the homeworld of the Nathrazim, which Illidan destroyed. So in the Illidan book, back during the events of Burning Crusade, Illidan was actually able to open a portal to Nathraza, was able to basically go there to try and get information, and then, you know, leave a bomb there to basically destroy the planet, which was a huge deal because, as I said, that was supposed to be the homeworld of the Nathrazim, and any Nathrazim that were killed there, because it was in the Twisting Nether, were permanently killed. It was a big detrimental blow to the Legion and the Nathrazim forces. So I'm guessing that may be just simply an echo of what remains, or just what remains in general. I'm not really sure. It's kind of hard to tell. You know, there's a number of things in here, this Argus section of the expansion, where it felt like just go with it. You know, don't really think about it too much. Just kind of roll with it for now. It's like, okay, fine. So let's go see Eonar. Now, some people have been confused and been like, wait a minute, isn't Alexstrasza the Lifebinder? No. Eonar is the Lifebinder. The reason Alexstrasza also has that title is because, well, Alexstrasza is Eonar's aspect of life. Eonar helped empower Alexstrasza, thus helping also give her the title. So you could basically say that Eonar is the Lifebinder Titan, and Alexstrasza is the Lifebinder of Azeroth. Now, yes, technically she's not the aspect of life anymore at the end of Cataclysm, but she's sort of still that in title, even though she may not literally be that with the same kind of power she used to have. But let's be honest, many of us still kind of consider her that, regardless of what happened at the end of Cataclysm. But now this place certainly looks beautiful. A lot of Titan stuff, as you can see right here. Lots of trees. Now, you'll notice we just got an interesting ability here. Whee! And then we can be able to go whoop. That is the essence of Eonar. Though she was felled by the blade of Sargeras, the Lifebinder's essence escaped the grasp of the Dark Titan. After millennia spent hiding in isolation, Eonar's sanctuary has been discovered by the Legion. Should her soul fall into the enemy's hands, Eonar's powers of nature and growth will be perverted to make the Burning Crusade unstoppable. They have all the others, somehow, and they are, like I said, trying to corrupt them to turn them into a dark pantheon. The only one they don't have at the moment is Eonar. And they, both, and they show a cutscene where both Sargeras and Aggramar say that they have to find her and get her so they can be able to actually complete their plan and secure their victory. Why? They don't say. Other than maybe they think if we don't get all of them, we could still lose. But if we have all of them, then we're able to, secure a victory. Maybe they highly regard her power that much that they thought if they couldn't get her but all the others, she could still be able to do something to kind of thwart their plans, aiding us and such. So, because they have found here, this encounter is interesting. We are basically having to defend her essence here from being killed. When the encounter starts, we're going to be having Legion forces enter from 3 different gates. One over there, and up there. And you're going to have forces coming through the gateway. You're also going to have some... Because a couple of legions are going to... ships, like a ship will show up here trying to send forces through and bombard the essence here in order to be able to weaken her so they can capture her. And other, a portal will open up, some fell bats will come through. This fight also has a instant death mechanic. Not on normal, but on Mythic. Because I have actually experienced this fight on Mythic. And... the way it works is that there's going to be some portals that open down there. And you have to have people take them in order to get into the Legion ship, which you have to then disable. Otherwise, it insta-kills everybody in the raid. And you have to do this 4 times, I believe. So this is one of the reasons why people get the skip for this raid. Is because the skip allows you to bypass this encounter altogether. So, of course, I'm not doing this. And yes, you can solo this on normal. Because it doesn't have that mechanic. It also basically requires you to just simply pay attention as to which entrance the forces are coming through. Now, me having DBM and everything turned off is probably going to make this a little tricky for me. But hopefully I can still be able to actually do it. We'll see. The essence of Eonar hovers before you. Though her beauty and purity is palpable, you can sense her sorrow and dread. We will defend you, Lifebinder.
Champions, the forces of the Legion seek to capture my essence for their infernal master.
It's a good thing I've got my minions here to help me out. So yeah, there's the ship over there. Yeah, that thing. And usually that means that they will show up over there. That's the life energy that she is charging up to defeat them.
It's too far.
That's the main thing I absolutely have to take down, because it bombards her directly.
Come, intruders! Back to your master!
But she charged that up and took out the forces on my behalf. To help me out, basically. All I really need to do is focus on those big destructors and clear some of the forces at the gateways. Where the ship is going to be a nice hint as to where they're going to be. Like right now, you can see there's one right there. Okay. There we go. There is another ship over there. That concerns me. But you can see that is... because what I'm doing is buying her time to build up that energy so she can finish off those forces. Oh boy. Alright, so you can use these as well to get up here. Because, yeah, that thing bombards her, and it hurts. I take that thing out, I help her charge some energy. But also, there's some forces down there. So yeah, this fight is a little tricky when I'm doing it solo like this.
Feel the potency of life. Fear its power.
So yeah, gotta get her to charge that up 2 more times and we win the encounter.
It's too far.
So yeah, it's a very different type of encounter. There's no real direct boss here. We're just simply fighting trash from different spots. There's the portal with the fell bats. Doing this as a melee is very tricky. If you're ranged, you should be fine. And then there's the big guy right there.
Defeat them before they reach me, or all is lost.
It's too far away.
They usually have a very specific pattern here like that, so that can make it easy to deal with them. But I do need to kind of help keep track. There we go. There's another big one right there.
Minions of darkness, you will know the might of a titan.
Alright, so we just have to help her do that one more time. There's another big one right there.
Victory is nigh, champions. Dispatch their remaining forces. I will see to their vessel myself.
There we go.
The tormented cries of the Pantheon ring out from deep within the core of Argus. If Sargeras breaks them, as he did Aggramar, no power in this universe will stop him. Release them, champions, or your struggle will be for naught.
Well done, champions. For the first time in millennia, a blow has been struck against the denizens of the Burning Throne. Yet this battle is far from over. A great power roils in torment at this world's core. Rendezvous with the Vindicar, so we can prepare for the final attack.
Not quite there yet. The essence of Eonar hovers before you. You sense both relief and gratitude, but a sense of urgency and purpose cuts short the joy of victory. So she sends you back out here. So we can't quite go straight to the Burning Throne just yet. There is one more thing we have to deal with. Alright, hold on. Sorry I didn't read that for you guys. It's an explanation as to how they provided you with warframes to take you to this transportation.
The Legion's ranks are crumbling, but they still outnumber us. My forces will keep them engaged here.
You will not be fighting alone, Terrellian. The demons will pay for every step with their blood.
Sargeras seeks to corrupt the other titans. If we don't stop him, the Pantheon will be reborn in darkness. There's no time to waste.
Striking at the heart of the Legion is futile until we take out their war machines. Unchecked, they would soon overwhelm us.
Agreed. We must cripple those infernal engines of destruction. Champions, use this teleporter to board the Vindicar. On to our next target.
So yeah, you remember that Worldbreaker we took out? We need to go after the guy who made it and the other Garothi and Fel Reavers, so that none of those can ever be made again. to the exhaust. I like it if we effectively use the Vindicar to take us from one part of Antorus to another. It just shows you how large this place is. Alright. Let's head on through.
Blast doors lies the heart of the Legion's war machine. Eliminating this threat will cripple the demon's arsenal.
Well, okay then. Let's go take it out.
Halt!
Whoa. The doors are closing.
You'll go no further, mortal scum. There's a bounty on your heads, and I mean to collect.
So, yeah. This is a bounty hunter. Yeah. This is a Boba Fett. Of World of Warcraft. I heard someone call him Boba Fell once. I thought that was extremely amusing. But yeah, this is Eonar the Soul Hunter. The infamous Eonar serves as the Legion's bloodhound, capable of tracking prey across the cosmos with a vast array of gadgets and traps at his disposal. Eonar has yet to lose a bounty, and he certainly doesn't intend to sully his perfect record by failing to fulfill his latest contract. So yeah, I like this because, well, anyone who's probably a fan of the Mandalorians and the bounty hunters in Star Wars, you can probably understand why. I mean, I did enjoy playing a bounty hunter in Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I'm sure many of you have watched The Mandalorian, right? And of course, if you're fans of either Boba Fett or Jango Fett, then yeah, there's just this really kind of cool, like, oh my gosh, it's a bounty hunter, kind of feel to this. You'll see, he actually gets to kind of show off some of his toys that he's got at his disposal against us.
Your heads will adorn my trophy room.
We'll see about that.
Keep up if you can.
So yeah, he flies to the other end of the bridge and drops a bunch of traps in the way. Some of them knock you away, some of them stun you for a period of time. And he starts casting Conflag. By the way, I think the achievement is actually hit all the traps on the bridge.
The higher the bounty.
I, of course, have multiple different shields at my disposal, and I've got Death's Advance. There's the stun I was mentioning. Doesn't even let my IBF counter it.
Taking this job.
Well, that takes care of that door. Alright. Getting a couple of transmog pieces that I didn't have before. Looks like those are for my warrior. Take him. Now, this next one, this is, of course, going to be... I mentioned that we encountered a chief engineer earlier. Well, that's separate from the guy who is behind all the Felreavers and the Garothi and all the war machines that the Legion have. That's who we are about to face now. The Hallowed Fellworks. We, of course, have to go through some Garothi in order to get through him. Either Decimators or Annihilators. That's him up ahead. This is Kingaroth, the engineer of the apocalypse. The design of every Legion war machine stems from the depraved mind of Kingaroth. Obsessed with crafting implements of death, Kingaroth infused his very body into the production machinery so he could more efficiently churn out a never-ending supply of destruction. At the behest of the Legion's Dark Master, Kingaroth's fevered brilliance has developed a new superweapon which he plans to unleash upon the Army of the Light. It's hard to get across the position that this guy is and what he means to the Legion in terms of what they have. Like, saying he would be like the Professor Putricide of the Legion is not quite getting it across. You know, we had the Chief Engineer, but then you've got this guy who, you can see, part of his body is within the machinery to actually help make the Garothi. You know. He's very dedicated to his work, is a way you could put it, you know? I think this is a pretty cool fight.
Prepare to be deconstructed.
Very much into the, ooh, test subjects.
Witness true power.
But yeah, he doesn't have a lower half.
Allow me to demonstrate my newest invention.
By the way, letting those things just roll around and around is part of the achievement on Mythic.
Test subjects for my ultimate weapon.
So he puts up a big shield on him called Apocalypse Protocol, where he gets 99% reduced damage, because he's now summoning these Garothi to fight us. You heard him there, right? Say, "Such an honor, you will be test subjects for my ultimate weapon."
Time to put our boots to their throats. Return to the Vindicar and prepare to strike the killing blow.
So yeah, now that we've dealt with Kingaroth, now we can go to the Burning Throne to try and take them down once and for all. By the way, that's the progress that Sargeras' cloud has made on Azeroth. And you can see it animated and see it moving. Oof, that is just... Oof. We effectively have to finish this.
Antorus lies before us. The power behind the Legion's infinite army.
So much agony here. So many voices, it's nearly overwhelming. But I can feel Eonar urging us forward.
At long last, the end is upon us. Press on, my friends.
Give me 1 second. In fact, I'm going to show you guys once more the view there of Azeroth. Well, I just remembered there's some special dialogue, in case it doesn't play, I want to share with you. Okay. Just trying to make sure I find the correct link here for the upcoming encounter. Alright, I think I found it. So...
It's too far.
This is of course, I keep trying to emphasize how big of a moment this is. We are finally at the heart of the Legion. We succeed here. We effectively are able to defeat them for good.
It's too far.
But before we deal with that, there's somebody from our past we have to deal with. A familiar face, though he has changed a bit.
Witches! You call that torment? I've endured far worse!
I tire of that worm's babbling. Let me scorch the flesh from his miserable bones!
Ignore him, sister. Focus on your duty. These souls are nearly ready to join Aggramar in the Master's service.
I feel those demons twisting the spirits of the Titans, forcing them to use their might to serve the Legion.
Should they fall to darkness, Sargeras will have the power he needs to claim the final Titan.
Azeroth!
You, of course, recognize that particular Dreadlord, right? You should. We met him back in Warcraft 3. Varimathras. As one of the Dreadlords overseeing the Legion's forces during the Third War, Varimathras failed to stop the rebellious Lich King. He submitted to an ill-fated alliance with Sylvanas Windrunner, then made one last bid for power before facing a humiliating defeat, which was the Battle for the Undercity event that happened in Wrath of the Lich King, which happened following the betrayal at the Wrathgate. We then find out that it was Varimathras and the guy who was part of the apothecary, the guy who was like, you know, Death to the Scourge and death to the living! Yeah, that guy. And we march in and we take him down. What's funny is that the Alliance takes him down. The Horde, if you're on Horde with Thrall and Sylvanas, you actually go into the area that was Sylvanas' throne room in Undercity, and you find Varimathras basically admitting to it and talking about how it was part of a plan on behalf of the Legion, because of course he was still working for them under the the guise of Sylvanas, because of course he pulled one on her. But he failed because we stopped him. In payment for his blunders, Varimathras has been tortured by the Coven of Shivarra. The vindictive sisters stripped away both flesh and sanity, leaving only a singular desire to inflict suffering upon the mortals who cost him everything. So this is messed up and disturbing, what they've done to him. Like, seriously, his model, this is something straight out of a horror movie. You can see this is the result of the torture that they've been doing to him. And it's extremely, like, this is something out of a R-rated horror film, like, if you're into gore. His eyes are missing, you can see the sockets there. They basically have, like, peeled away his lips and such. His skin has basically been, carved off. You can see his arm there. Look at his arm. That just shows you, like, the level of, what's been happening to him. They've actually have these spikes, probably indicating that they've been trying to use some fel to cause these spikes and such to give him even more pain. You can see the acid and the way his wings have been getting melted, probably by being burned by acid and such. His horns are, that is one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in this game. You want to talk about a disturbing image and visual, that's one right there. And this is someone we once knew and encountered, and this is what has been happening to him since Wrath. Since we defeated him in Undercity and back in Wrath of the Lich King, this is what they've been doing to him. Now keep in mind, we are in the Twisting Nether. We are about to encounter him and defeat him, and once we do, he's gone. So we are about to finally put a bookend at the end of the story of Varimathras. However, he has one last thing he wants to say to us.
So, she found me at last. Sent her underlings to finish the job. Tell me, when she seized your throne of hides and bones, was your allegiance forced? No, I'd wager you surrendered it willingly. Or were convinced you did. It matters not. You are blind to the darkness in your midst.
That's what he says to us if we are Horde. If you are Alliance, he says, "So, your Alliance still endures, longer than I expected. Though she has already planted the seeds of its downfall. She is patient, that one. When your thrones run red with betrayal, when your holy places burn and the shattered mask hangs above your hearth, only then you will know, and it will be too late. It matters not. You are blind to the true darkness closing in around you." Obviously, both are referring to Sylvanas, which makes sense because, of course, he would still probably be haunted by Sylvanas and us. Just to once again get a bit more of a closer look at his model. Look at that. The face is what really bothers me. Like I said, look at the arm. You can see that they've been literally peeling off the skin off his arm there. But just look at his face. He doesn't have eyes, and they've been basically stripping away the lips on his mouth there, and basically using something to keep it pried open. You see that with the big thing around his neck? I mean, you want to talk about just messed up and disturbing dark levels of torture? Oh my gosh. I consider defeating him here a mercy. Because we finally... We permanently... Not only do we permanently kill him, but we're sparing him further torture. And basically just putting him out of his misery. Because I'm sure he has just been, even right now, going through intense amounts of pain. So I consider us fighting him and killing him here a mercy. This is also not that great of a fight. Basically, you have to make sure you're clumped up together, otherwise he does this mechanic where if you're by yourself, he puts a lot of damage and a debuff on you. It's not a great fight. So let's put him out of his misery, shall we?
Come. We will trade pain for pain.
Struggles against the mortal intruders.
Pathetic! Let them all burn!
Damnable witches! Away!
Whoa!
I am the chill running down your spine.
Whoa!
I want to see your limbs roasting.
Pain awaits in the darkness! Back here!
He actually knocked me into that room and triggered that boss fight. I've never seen that happen before. I've literally never once seen that happen before. That's crazy. I was trying to give you guys a shot of the Coven up there and what them commenting, because they can see what's going on here. I obviously didn't want to trigger that yet because I have to be very careful about that, because that is the encounter here where you have to separate them, otherwise you get the 99% reduction. So anyways, let's try this again, shall we?
Come then. We will trade pain for pain!
Struggles against the mortal intruders.
Pathetic! Let them all burn!
Damnable witches! Back here!
Us all.
His fate was ours to decide. You will pay for your insolence, mortals.
Yeah, no. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I wasn't fond of him. Good riddance to bad rubbish, I say. You know, he was, he kind of deserved all that. But, yeah. You know, sometimes there are just things you don't even wish to happen on even your worst of enemies. For some reason, they stopped that channel. I was going to show that they were each channeling, that they are each torturing one of the... Because you can see, here are the essences of the other titans. Like, you know, Khazgoroth, Aman'Thul, Golganesh. Like, here they are, and that's what these ladies here have been doing. Trying to be very careful about this. There's 3 of them, but one of them will effectively not be in the fight, and then you have to separate the other 2 to be, you know, so that way they don't have that 99% damage reduction buff. Let's get that off the screen. This is the Coven of Shivarra. Having proven themselves to be the most depraved and fanatical of all of his followers, Sargeras entrusted the Coven with the unholy task of twisting the minds of the fallen Titans into an unstoppable dark pantheon. Each sister employs her own signature brand of torture, eliciting screams which echo throughout the halls of Antorus. It is said that neither mortal nor demon can refuse their whispers, making it only a matter of time before the will of the Titans is broken. So, let's see. Gotta be very careful about this.
I am the chill running down your spine.
I want to see your limbs roasted.
Fortunately, they share health.
Your limbs roasting.
The souls of the Pantheon are free, but they endured so much suffering. Let me bide with them for a time. Offer a bit of comfort.
Remain here, Magni. The rest of us will go on.
So close now to the end.
Don't worry, we'll see them in a bit. We basically made it here just in time to save them from being corrupted. We now have a buff called Boon of the Titans, where our movement speed gets increased. Oh boy, here we go.
This may be the one place in the universe sacred to the Legion. Demons would pluck out their eyes sooner than gaze upon it.
Who could ever imagine such a sacrifice?
Ha! Funny little joke there by Illidan.
It's too far.
So you'll notice where it said we are, right? We are effectively so far deep into the planet, we have found its world soul. And that's it right there, behind Aggramar. That right there is Argus's world soul. Just once again showing the cloud. Imagine what everyone on Azeroth is thinking, seeing this giant cloud just starting to cover all of Azeroth. But yeah, behind Aggramar there, that's Argus's world soul. And they've been using that while we've been here on Argus to try and recreate as much of the Legion forces as they can to prevent them from being permanently killed here in the Twisting Nether. Yeah. Plus, of course, remember, this soul has been getting tortured for centuries and thousands of years by Sargeras to willingly join forces with Sargeras, just like what happened with Aggramar, and just like what was happening with the Pantheon back over there. Aggramar. This is one of the Titans. Aggramar. Once the noble avenger of the Pantheon, Aggramar was struck down by Sargeras and reborn as a Titan of Destruction. He now stands at the core of Argus, guarding a power that could unmake the universe. Not even demons are permitted to tread within the Titan's halls, and any mortals bold enough to trespass will be reduced to cinders by Aggramar's burning blade, Taishalash. I have been trying to get this guy to drop this sword for quite a long time. Again, this can drop on any difficulty, so it's not like you have to farm just Mythic in order to get it. You can do this on any difficulty with 4 classes: Death Knight, Warrior, Paladin, and Hunter, because of Survival Hunter. I've seen people running around with that sword, and I get jealous. Because, it's such a cool sword, and I really, really want it. You can see it there. He doesn't even have it ignited at the moment, but he will. But yeah, this is not his real size, just as a reminder, because that's the real size. Remember, the Titans are the size of planets. That's why Sargeras right now is so large there as a cloud. We'll see him at his full Titan size at the end of this raid. Aggramar is in what is known as an avatar form. And we're going to be seeing this later with the spoilers with the other Titans. But, yeah, if Aggramar was his full size, he would be that size. And he would crush us like a bug, because we can't fight something the size of a planet. It's also why we can't fight Sargeras, because he has to be up there and not down here for us to fight, which is part of what happens in the upcoming final fight after this one. But anyways, this fight is interesting. I have to try and finish this as fast as I can, because he has a mechanic that will effectively knock me off the platform to instant death, because it's a mechanic that requires you to have multiple people to soak the damage and knockback it does, because if it is delivered to just one player, he gets knocked all the way off the platform. But if there's multiple people there, then they kind of divide it amongst themselves. You'll see. Give me the sword, Aggramar.
You will burn!
I've heard him say that so many times.
Facialist power is unleashed!
So he summons adds to the edge. You want to drop this fire shield here, you gotta take out these flames of Teshalash.
You may have withstood the flames, but you will not withstand.
When these embers reach him, they will explode and do a ton of damage to the raid.
Stand and die!
Like that, yeah.
The power of Teshalash will consume you!
By the way, the achievement for this guy was a pain. You know why? Because you have to keep one of these active and keep them through the mechanics a lot. It basically requires you to, or not, actually I take that back, not one of those things, one of these things. I want to point out that one of the only ways to effectively do this is to have a Warlock and just constantly banish it. I know this because I did this on my Warlock. That was the recommended strategy, so I hopped on my Warlock and I just kept focusing on banishing that one ad the whole time.
You did it! Aggramar's essence is free. He can stand beside his brethren once more.
Our victories mean nothing, so long as Sargeras has the soul of Argus to fuel his infinite army. Azeroth remains in grave peril.
The Titans can sever that connection, but not here. They need to bring the soul of Argus to their place of power, the seat of the Pantheon.
The very cradle of creation.
Their final act will harness the last of Argus's power to imprison Sargeras once and for all. Heroes, I can signal the Titans to begin. Once they start their ritual, there's no turning back.
So, a couple of important things. We have effectively freed Aggramar from his state of following Sargeras. A theory was tossed out that this avatar form that Aggramar was in was essentially a prison made by Sargeras. because he's about to now aid us in the next encounter. As you heard Magni say, we're going to be going to the seat of the Pantheon and have the Titans show up in avatar form to help us imprison Sargeras once and for all. Aggramar is going to show up in his avatar form, not looking quite like this, looking a little different, but that's because he's now no longer serving Sargeras. He is freed from serving Sargeras. So that's important to note that this we just effectively broke him out of his prison. So he's now going to show up at the Sea of the Pantheon to help us now that we freed him. But yeah, obviously it's not going to be quite that easy because Sargeras is going to have one last trick up his sleeve. And sadly, I still didn't get the sword. Oh well, I'll have to try later on. Maybe when someone's doing a run of the first 2 and last 2 bosses for Mythic, so.
I speak for Azeroth.
I don't think I can talk to anybody else. No. So let's just... So now Magni's going to send us to the Sea of the Pantheon. Check this out.
Back to work. All right, everybody. Hold on! Seat of the Pantheon.
That which you have stolen will be your undoing. Rise, Argus. Rise, my broken world. Mortals, the time has come to fight for the fate of your world.
Not the best dialogue or voice acting there, but yeah, I get the message, Amanthul. But yeah, as you can see, we are at the seat of the Pantheon with all the Titans here. Golganeth, Khazgaroth, Eonar, Amanthul over there in the biggest seat in the middle. Aggramar, as I said, now he's over there, obviously colored different to show that he's not, that he's been freed from his prison. And Norganon. Behind us, by the way, there's Argus, just to kind of show the location. We are not in Argus anymore like we were over there in Antorus. We are now at the seat of the Pantheon, a whole different location. Because there is Argus, and there is Azeroth. And you can see the cloud has almost entirely covered Azeroth. We are basically on a timer here. We have to stop this, or Sargeras wins. The last thing we have to deal with is the world soul of Argus, the Unmaker. Bound, broken, eons of existence, knowing only pain. A shattered soul, fueling infinite evil. The Master beckons. Rise, rise. Begin the end of all things. Yep. So, I know some people actually had an issue with this because they wanted Sargeras to be the big final boss for this expansion, since if we're going to defeat the Legion, we should be facing Sargeras, right? Well, it's a little hard to do so when he's way over there and that large. We can't fight Sargeras when he's that size. Maybe we could fight him when he's this size, but yeah, just no. To me, in some ways, though, this kind of makes sense, that he would then utilize this world soul that he has been, as you probably heard, has been torturing for eons to fight on his behalf because he's been broken. You know, he's been tortured and endured so much pain that he has just been broken. So, yeah. This is also, in some ways, this effectively a new Titan. Because, well, as we found out in the Chronicles books, the World Souls are effectively Titans. Remember, Azeroth's World Soul is a Titan. She just has not woken up yet. She's not ready to become a Titan. Argus's World Soul is now basically effectively a Titan that has been brought to Avatar form. What is he the Titan of? Well, you could probably say he's the Titan of Death. And that is important because, based on what we have been seeing in Shadowlands, in regards to what happened to the Arbiter, that is probably what happened to the Arbiter. What happens here, what we do to Argus the Unmaker here. But that's, at the moment, still speculation. By the way, there's the regular blue scythe. If we were doing this on Mythic, you would see him, you have it turn into this. The red one. But yeah, I have that one too. So, this fight obviously is a little different on Mythic compared to regular. Regular, we're going to be seeing a extra mechanic that is just skipped over in Mythic. But this is kind of a fun fight because we're going to be having this big fight here. Then we're going to be dealing with some ads. And then something cool happens. Just something really cool that reminds me of the Lich King encounter from Ice Crown. And then we're going to have just a chaotic final sequence that is designed for you to die a lot and just keep coming back and keep trying, keep going, keep trying until you effectively win. The achievement for this final encounter was a pain to get because it required a lot of people to be dead to pull it off, and a few to just stay alive to keep the encounter going while people got ready to do the achievement. Yeah, getting a group for this achievement was not easy. I'll try not to kill him too fast so I can show the other mechanic.
The Master demands your doom!
Sometimes when you start the encounter, instead he'll say, Death! Death and pain!
The might of sea and sky must aid our champion! Go to them!
I want to be like, guys, I've been collecting your artifacts throughout this expansion, just saying.
Let the fury of the sea wash away this corruption! Aggramar, lend these mortals your strength, brother. Only pain. Time answers to me, Unmaker. The one force that can bind your relentless fury.
I always found that line from him interesting. Time answers to me! I mean, we get it. You're the, the Titan of Time and such, the Eye of Aman'Thul and all that, but... Just saying, Aman'Thul, you may be a little full of yourself at this point, thinking, oh, it answers to you. Really? So yeah, we're fighting these consular designates just like, what's his name in Ulduar? Algalon. Yeah, so these are effectively the same guys as Algalon. Thank you. And some people wonder, why are they fighting us? Because they're servants of the Titans, so of course they're fighting us. Because remember, Sargeras is still a Titan. And then this happens.
endured. It must not end this way.
Hope is not lost, Half-Father. The spark of life still flickers within these mortals. Arise, champions! Fight to save your world!
So he starts casting End of All Things. So we have to interrupt that cast, otherwise he wipes the raid, because he effectively ends all things. So now comes the really fun part of the fight. Lots of chaos and such that happens here, where he can just constantly kill you, and you immediately can release and run over here to revive yourself and come back over here in order to continue the fight. Like I said, it's chaos. Look at this. And then this happens.
You have done well, mortals.
It is time.
We must gather our strength. Return home, children of Azeroth.
Illidan, we've done all we can.
Every choice, every sacrifice has led me to this moment. To face him once again.
You are not coming with us.
The hunter is nothing without the hunt. Did you not see this fate, prophet?
Fate? Our survival was never in fate's hands. Light be with you, Illidan Stormrage.
Goodbye, Illidan. Bit of a cheesy line of dialogue coming up here.
Brother, your crusade is over!
And for the first time, we see Sargeras. Watch Velen here. As Khadgar would say later in Silithus, our victory was a hollow one. In the end, Sargeras got the last word. But just that exhale from Velen. Can you? I want you to really take a moment to consider putting yourself in Velen's position. To think about all that Velen has gone through. All that he has endured at the hands of Sargeras and the Burning Legion. And it's over. All the suffering, all the pain, all the death, all the running, everything for him and his people, it is over. You know that exhale. When you just have that realization that it's finally over. And you just take a breath and you're just, oh, thank goodness, it's finally over. Now, that was effectively the goodbye for Illidan, but of course, remember, there is a crystal over here. It's not here anymore because I've already done that on this character. But if you had not done this raid before, there is a crystal over here. If you want to see that quest, check out my main playthrough on, of my shaman when I tried to show this raid for the first time as part of that playthrough. And where I then did, in the following video, I showed the quest where you get the crystal and deliver it on behalf of Illidan. So, anyways. But yeah, I also love how you saw there the way he swiped at our ship. Just one last effort, one last attempt on his part to try and take us down, probably just to spite us. He swiped at us and we just barely avoided his hand there grabbing the Vindicar before he got sucked into the Pantheon there. And then the portal closes, and now all we ever see from Azeroth is that little red-looking star that is the Sea of the Pantheon closed off. It's been that way ever since, and still there. So, quite a bit of dialogue you can be able to get from the different characters here.
Will come.
Khadgar.
There is much to be done.
The campaign against the Legion has been long and wearying. We have traversed entire worlds, spanned the twisting nether itself to finally achieve victory. I am tired, yet we cannot rest. Magni's visions of doom shake me to my very core. Only one Titan remains, champion, and we must defend it. Yeah, and she just got stabbed brutally. Yeah, that sword, that wound.
Farewell, my friend, until we meet again.
Countless nights, I dreamt of returning to Argus, of seeing what became of my home, of saving it. There was no salvation to be had, but we did find victory. What comes next, I cannot say, but I will not wait for visions to guide me. I will do all I can to support King Anduin, and to ensure he is prepared to face the threat that looms in the darkness. Well, Velen, we'll see how he does in the next patch. We saw that the jailer has had quite an effect on him, but hopefully it'll turn out positively.
The army of the light stands ready.
At long last, the war is over. Part of me never expected to survive to see this day. So many battles, so much loss. Now we return home to a world I haven't walked in. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna be more the actual realistic, which is like 23 or 24 years. In 24 years. My old life is long past. It is time to build a new one, and get to know the sun, who embodies everything that I fought for.
Walk in the light.
I don't recall if we've actually had the follow-up on Erator's relationship with his parents here. We've had follow-up with both Illyria and Turalyon. There was follow-up with them in the Shadows Rising book and what's going on with them. And of course, right now, he is sitting on the throne in Stormwind, while she is also in the council room next to it, helping him. But not much has been going on in regards to Erator and Varisa.
Greetings.
I found them. At long last, I found them. The two people who gave me life have been absent for all of it. I know they fought to keep me safe, that they sacrificed so much, and yet we cannot suddenly become a happy family. They know next to nothing about me. and I know only legends of them. We have much to learn about one another and many wounds to heal. But at least we will do it together.
Do not lose faith.
It is a good day for a hunt.
My heart soars to return to Azeroth alongside Eonar and Turalyon, to see the forests of my homeland once again. Yeah, about that. When you get back to Silvermoon, it's not gonna go well. And yet, Verisa told me what has befallen Sylvanas. Though I dread the meeting, I must see with my own eyes what she has become. Is she even my sister anymore? Or some light-forsaken monster? That's funny, considering, that Forsaken can wield the light, but whatever. But of course, I have changed as well. The powers at my command may cause some to question my loyalties. I must remain calm, focused. There is much to ponder.
The shadows can be an ally, if controlled.
Illyria has changed. She wields powers I do not fully comprehend, but in her heart, she remains my beloved sister. I know it. The news of Sylvanas weighs heavily upon her. There are matters to be settled, face to face. The Windrunner's sisters must meet, and there is only one place it can be done.
Together we
I don't believe they show that on camera. I'm pretty sure that happens off camera. I don't recall if it happens in the book that happens between Legion and BFA. But I do know that in the pre-launch event, the Battle for Lordaeron, that Illyria does at one point say to Sylvanas, I wish I had killed you the last we met. And Sylvanas has the, how rude, sister. So, but yeah, obviously this side of the room was kind of teasing what's going on here with what's going on with their family and Sylvanas, while this side of the room is like, oh, thank goodness it's over, but oh gosh, what has happened to our beloved home? I wish you would show here Azeroth, just so I could be able to kind of end on this kind of shot of us heading back to Azeroth here on the Vindicar. But anyways, I guess I could just kind of end with the shot of space here at the front of the Vindicar. So anyways, that is it, everyone. We finally got to the Legion raids and was finally able to do them. Like Velen, I'm just exhaling like... Like I said before, this is my favorite expansion. And, I never get tired of going back to this content. It's still fun for me. I mean, I just finished the Balance of Power questline on this Death Knight to get that stuff. And I went through the whole Suramar questline again to help with that. And it was still fun. And I'm actually looking forward to doing it again on some more other classes, like my Paladin and my Druid, But anyways... For a lot of people, this was kind of one of the last really great moments for the game, although I'm sure that's debatable. But let's just say that obviously what happened going forward was a sour taste for a lot of people. And, well, we of course have yet to see how the rest of Shadowlands is going to pan out. It's going to be a long while before I can figure out whether or not it's possible to actually solo any of these. Because, honestly, I'm not quite sure. I have yet to actually test this out. I think about some of the encounters in BFA, and I think to myself, how in the world, until we're just, like, incredibly powerful, like, gear-wise and such, are we going to be able to actually solo these? But maybe it's possible. I don't know. But, yeah. This effectively could be the last video in this series for a long time. So, and I'm talking like maybe a couple or a few years. Who knows? I'm just glad I was able to get to this point because, well, as I've mentioned, I did love Legion. And, yeah. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. I see some of the videos in the series have gotten a lot of attention. I thank you for that. Those of you who are asking to see some of these, I hope you have enjoyed them. I hope they delivered. I hope that I was able to perhaps show you something or inform you of something that you perhaps didn't know before. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this so far, and whenever I'm able to actually possibly continue this, I hope you look forward to that. If you want, while I may not be able to continue soloing raids at this point, I still have a lot of work to do when it comes to all the dungeons. I haven't even finished the ones in this section here. We have a lot of dungeons to get through in that series. So if you want, go ahead and swing on over to my Soloing Dungeons series, where even though at this point it's very early on, I have a lot of them left to do. It just kind of lets you know that there's still quite a bit that I can still do in that regard. Plus, it's actually more feasible and easier to do, so go through the dungeons than it is the raids, But yeah, I still have quite a bit of this, to go through, so that'll be something to work on going forward. But soloing raids is going to take a very long hiatus from here on out until it's possible to somehow solo the raids of BFA going forward. So anyways, I will see you guys next time.